Treyarch just dropped the official trailer for the final Zombies map coming to Black Ops 6, and I can't lie, my hype level is absolutely through the roof. Now, really fast, of course, same as always, I'm gonna show you guys the actual trailer with my reaction so that way TikTok doesn't get mad at me, and then after that, we'll go ahead and break it down. All right, let's check this out.
Murder is what started all of this.
Okay.
Nothing can erase all of your sins, Edward.
Let's see what you're good for.
There's that new trap. Okay, the turret. Caster turret. Oh, dude, that's sick, bro. Just... Okay, yeah, there's Mr. P. Oh, dude. Bro, it looks a little like the thing from that Rick and Morty game. Dude, the fact that you can just jump off and parachute, this map is going to be... Wait, what was that?
Here comes uber trouble.
Oh! Yo, that pack camo looks sick though. Ugh! There's the Klaus Core, there's the, okay, Fear the Reckoning. Ooh, bro, that's sick. All right, and there you have it. It's a pretty cool trailer, and it shows just enough without showing too much. Now, the first thing that we get is a quote from Richtofen saying, "Murder is what started all of this," which is then followed by a quote from Sam saying, "Nothing can erase all of your sins, Edward." So basically what this tells me is that during this map, we're probably going to be hearing from both Richtofen and Sam, which then the entire time they're probably going to be bickering back and forth and trying to get us on their sides. Now, while she is saying this, we then get a glimpse of the Rampage Inducer, which is then confirming that this lobby will be the starting room. Which then next up, we get a shot of the camera flying through a hole in one of the upper floors, which we are going to be able to dive through. And then after this, we get a small shot of the caster turret in all of its glory. Now, right after that, though, comes a shot of the launchers that we're going to be using to actually launch ourselves from tower to tower, which they do look fun, but weirdly enough, what stuck out to me here is the sound of it sounds almost like what happens when you lose your quick revive perk. However, after this, we then get a shot of one of the balconies on one of the towers, and we can see in the background is the containment cube, and inside of the containment cube is the containment orb that is supposedly holding the Forsaken from Black Ops Cold War, which, if I had to guess, he's going to be part of the Easter egg. Next up, however, we then get a shot of the brand new Mr. Peaks field upgrade in use, which does look pretty fun, so I'm probably going to try it at least once. And then the next shot, which I did technically cover in my last video, but this one is of better quality, is a shot of the Gorgafex doing a charge shot, which, as you can see, is going to explode the zombies, but then it's also going to lift them up in the air and then potentially slam them back down. However, next up, we then get a shot of one of the upper lobby areas, and inside here we can see is the Jug Machine, which then right after this is a shot that I personally think is amazing because this shows that we are going to actually be able to dive from floor to floor and parachute around, which for me personally might just be huge because this might actually make it easier for me to make my solo guide, because this might make it a lot faster to get around the map without having to backtrack. Which, if you're familiar with my solo guides, that is my whole thing, is I try to eliminate any and all backtracking. However, let's continue with the next shot being something pretty interesting, because in this shot, we not only see the same kind of testing tubes that were in the Terminus map, but inside of two of them, we can make out what seems to be the Toxic Zombie and the Elder Disciples. Which then, in the next scene, we see a much larger test tube, and inside of it looks to be some sort of human with white hair, but as of right now, we don't have any more information on who this actually is. Next up, however, we get a shot of the Pack-a-Punch area, and on the right, we see the Pack-a-Punch, and it looks like it might be starting to like teleport or float away. So from these scenes, we can then basically make out the fact that the Pack-a-Punch machine will most likely be moving around this room, as well as it's also going to probably periodically be floating, for instance, when there is low gravity in this room. Now, the next scene, we then get a shot of what seems to be a red portal on the far right-hand wall, but then we also get our first clear look at one of the Pack-a-Punch camos for this map. And I gotta say, this one might be my favorite so far. However, after this, we then get a clear shot of Uberklaus doing his whole supervillain landing, which then in the next shot, we see Weaver dive off and shoot at him, and we get another glimpse at one of the other Pack-a-Punch camos. And then as for the final shots, we get one of Uberklaus ejecting himself to be the Uberklaus core, as well as then the Commando Klauses themselves, which is this map's special round. Which then, of course, the final thing is it ending with Fear the Reckoning. Now, that is the trailer, but I'm sure within the next week leading up to the map's release on August 7th that we'll probably get some more, and you know that I will go over those. So, on that note, if you're not following, please make sure you hit that little follow button so you stay up to date on all things COD Zombies. And then, if the video helped you out, please help me out with a like and a share. And then finally, drop down in the comments and let me know how hyped you are for this map, because I know that I personally am extremely hyped.